Hello, second graders, and welcome to today's video. Hello, my most amazing artists. How are you today? I hope that you are ready to create because today you can see in front of me, I have this fiery medieval dragon that we are going to learn how to draw together. So today, the medium that I have picked to work with is Sharpie and watercolor. Now you can use whatever colors you have at home. You could outline this with a pencil, pen, crayon, and color it in with anything you have, markers, crayons, colored pencils, or watercolor just like me. It's totally up to you. But you're definitely gonna need a piece of paper, a writing utensil, and some sort of colors to fill this beauty in. So let's go ahead and get right into it and get started. So we're gonna start with our paper horizontal, long ways in front of us. And we are going to get our drawing utensil ready. Remember, if I'm ever moving too quickly or you miss something, you can always pause the video to catch up or rewind to listen to something over again. So we're gonna start at the top part of our paper in the top left-hand corner, and we're gonna start by drawing a sideways V. So 2 diagonal lines, just like that. Then we're gonna draw some curved triangles. Kind of looks like a shark fin or a dolphin fin. Pretty small ones. These are the teeth for our dragon. I'm just gonna draw 3 on either side of our dragon's mouth. Now, like we saw in the example, our dragon is blowing some fire. So we're gonna do a little flame design. You can feel free to do this however you want. I'm just doing some different squiggly lines like that. It kind of looks like the teeth we just did, those curved triangles with some squiggly lines coming out of the mouth. Next, we are going to do a curved shape for our nose. So just looks like part of a C to me. And we're gonna re-outline the inside like that. And that will be our dragon's nose. Then we're gonna go ahead and do a diagonal straight line down. And we are going to then go from the bottom of our mouth and do kind of a curved line like that. Next, we're gonna go a little bit to the side of our diagonal line, and we're gonna draw an almond or like kind of like a football shape. That's for our dragon's eyeball. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little curve shape in there for the dark part of the eye and just color it in with my marker. Next, we're gonna go about a finger's length away from our eye, a little bit diagonally down, and we're gonna draw, I guess, this little, kind of looks like the ear of the dragon, where we're just gonna do a big, curly, swirly line, and we're gonna go parallel to it with another one and have them meet. So a little pointy, curly, swirly line. Then we are going to connect the bottom of our dragon's mouth to the curly line, just like this, with a curved line like that. So the body of the dragon is behind this little curly, swirly ear. Then we're going to skip over the little curly swirly ear because it's behind it, so we don't want to draw in front of it. And we're going to do a big U shape. And then we're going to do another upside down U with a little flick, just like that. Looks like a giant U. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back down from the bottom of our dragon's mouth, and we're going to follow along with that shape, pretty much doing the same thing, and have it meet just like that in the corner. Then what we're going to do is we are going to draw our dragon's arms and legs. And it's gonna look weird. It's gonna look like they're not connected to the body at first, but I will show you what we're going to be adding to make them connected. So start by doing 2 parallel lines. Make sure they are not connected to this part of the body. You want at least a finger space in between. And you're gonna do that in the front of the dragon as well as the back of the dragon. The most important part is that they're not touching the body of our dragon. Then we're gonna do some of those kind of curly triangle shapes that we've been doing. We're gonna do 3 of those. Those are our dragon's fingers and toes. And of course, we're gonna add some more of those curly triangle shapes to add some ferocious nails to our dragon. Just like that. Remember, if I'm going too quickly, all you gotta do is just pause the video and catch up. So we are going to start right underneath the snout, the mouth part of our dragon, and we're gonna follow along this line kind of again. Make sure you watch me before you start. Actually want these to go a little bit deeper, so I'm going to add a little bit more to those. And the belly comes around here. Add a little bit more to those. And our belly disappears when the tail turns about right there. So then we're going to add some lines to show the texture of our dragon's belly, skipping over where the arms and the legs are. Just some straight lines connecting for the belly part. Very easy. And now we need to add some spikes to the top part of our dragon's body. So we're just doing regular, simple triangles. And there is the top part of our dragon. So we're finished with our dragon. We just need to add a couple clouds for the background when we go ahead and color it in blue. So I'm just doing a straight line in the bottom and some curved lines to complete my clouds. Having some of them behind the dragon. I'm just gonna do 3 clouds. You can do as many as you'd like. You can copy mine or you could do your own. It's totally up to you. Now I'm going to color mine in. Like I said, I'm going to be using watercolors for mine. And you can use whatever colors you would like. You can also, as you can see with this first one, I did a red dragon, but you don't have to do what colors I do. You can color in your dragon whatever colors you want to. This is your masterpiece. You are in charge of it, and you get to pick what colors you use. So I'm going to start with orange. So you're probably going to want to use one of our warm colors for the flame. Warm colors are yellow, red, and orange. And if you guys remember, it's been a while since we've talked about this, but our cool colors are blue, purple, and green. So you want to use a warm color for the fire, which is yellow, orange, or red. So I have my orange color, and then I'm going to go in with my red, and I'm just going to paint the body of my ferocious dragon. Now, remember, you don't have to use watercolors. You can use whatever colors you have. I think this would look wonderful with crayons, markers, or colored pencils, or even oil pastels if you had those. I just like to switch it up with what I use because that makes it really fun for me. And I really love watercolors. So I'm just taking my time. If you are using watercolors, remember that every so often you have to dip into that water because your color will not work without water. Just filling that in. Taking my time to make this medieval dragon look as wonderful as possible. Now, I'm going to show you guys a cool technique because for the stomach of our dragon, as well as the little pointy spikes on top of it, I'm actually going to use red as well. You can see I did that here, but the red looks very different. It looks a lot lighter, and I'm going to show you guys how you can achieve that with watercolors if that's what you are using. If you're using a crayon, you could use a different shade of that color or a different tint of that color. That is a lighter or darker version. Or if you're using crayons or colored pencils, you can also just change how hard you're pushing. If you push really hard, the color will be darker. But if you push really lightly, your color will be lighter. And that's how you can achieve multiple colors with just one pen or pencil. But for us, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding tons of water for watercolors. And that's what I'll be doing, just adding tons of water and barely any pigment. So you can see it's a lot lighter because it's mostly water. And just a little dot of color. And that's how you get that really pretty light red. It kind of looks a little pinkish. And that's how you achieve that. Making sure you're using, oops, I didn't get enough water there. But I can go over and add some water to that and spread that color around. But of course, it doesn't need to be perfect. Art is not about being perfect. It's about embracing our mistakes, making our mistakes work, and having fun. We're just practicing. That's what art class is all about, is getting our art skills to be better, to be practicing, and not about being perfect at all. I'd rather you have a good time and do your best during art than to try to be perfect. So that is the bottom and the arms and legs of our dragon. Now I'm going to do that same technique with the lighter color on, ooh, it looks like I dipped somehow into a black color a little bit, made that a little bit muddy. That's okay. Remember, we're not trying to be perfect here. We are not trying to be perfect. Okay, we are just plugging along here, getting our dragon points, our light red color, looking good. Remember, I'm moving quickly because I've had lots of practice with coloring and painting. And if you're not moving this quickly, just pause the video so you can catch up to the next spot where we're at. Because we've come to our last and final step, which is adding our sky. Now, I think a nice classic blue sky is beautiful, but like I said, this is your masterpiece and you can have your sky look however you want. And if you do not want a blue sky, well, that is entirely up to you, and you have the choice to make it look however you want. A cool technique you can also use if you're using a crayon that I like for coloring in backgrounds is, I think I may have showed it to you last week, but I can't remember. I teach so many different lessons in a week, it's hard to remember. But if I didn't tell you this trick, let me let you know about it right now, where you peel the side paper off of a crayon, and then you just use the side of the crayon to color in a sky. It looks really beautiful. It has a nice texture. I always really like the way that that turns out if you are using crayons. But the wonderful part about this project is that you can use any colors you have and it's gonna look beautiful either way. If you guys ever want to show me how your dragons or any artwork that you're doing turns out, I would love to see it. You can always send it to me on our Instagram. We have our Hawking Visual Arts Instagram, which I'm always posting things to and posting anyone's work who sends it to me. You are also totally free to email it to me if you don't have an Instagram or a parent who has access to Instagram, at my email, which is Q, and then my last name, Gutierrez, at hawkingcharter.org. Because I would love to see how these beautiful dragons turned out. As you can see, I'm just taking my time. Of course, it's not perfect, but I'm really putting in a lot of effort to make sure I'm coloring inside the lines. When you do a drawing like this, it's almost like you're creating your very own coloring page. Like we used to have the coloring pages in the back of my classroom that you guys loved doing so much when you finished early. It's like you're making a coloring page for yourself because you drew these beautiful outlines and now you want to color inside those lines to create your masterpiece. But as you can see, it takes a while because we have a lot of detail in this art piece, and all that detail makes it more difficult to paint around. But I think it's really worth taking the time and making it look as nice as possible. Because we are just strengthening our art muscles when we take the time to do this. I know it can be difficult at first, but you guys are big second graders now, so I have all the faith in the world that you guys can make this look beautiful. And I'm making sure I go around those clouds too. I didn't mention that because we want to leave the clouds white. We don't leave a lot of white space usually on our art pieces because we want to fill it all in with beautiful color. But clouds and then the whites of our dragon's eyes, those are two things that we want to keep white, have them be crisp, pop out, look beautiful. Oh my goodness, we're almost done. I can't wait to see what our final product looks like. It's gonna be amazing. So close to being finished. One more dip of color. And there it is. Our beautiful medieval dragon is finished. We got 1 and 2 here. The wet version of my dragon that's still drying from the watercolor, and then the dry version example I did. You can see they're slightly different, but I really like the way both of them turned out. You can see that all dragons don't have to look exactly the same. You can put your own style and flair onto them. And yeah, I can't wait to see how yours turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed creating these dragons with me. I had such a great time, and I will see you guys in our next art lesson. Have a great rest of your day.